As many of you have heard, the PFAS, PFOS, and PFOA chemical compounds have become quite an area of concern in Congress and in communities across the country. Legislation was introduced over the last several months and about the last year to try to curb the presence of PFAS in our environment. Amendments were offered over the summer to the National Defense Authorization Act that would require that PFAS, the whole compound of a whole class of chemical compounds under the PFAS chemical chain of about 3,000, be designated under the CERCLA law, the Superfund law, and that would cause potentially some challenges for wastewater treatment facilities and drinking water facilities that have presence of PFAS in either the wastewater or their drinking water source water. The concern we had was that the way that CERCLA law is written, it would potentially make treatment agencies the potentially responsible parties, although they are not the producers of the PFAS, they're the receivers of the PFAS. The responsible parties should be the producers and users, but the CERCLA law doesn't define exactly how that would play out. So we are making efforts to make sure that to get in place an exemption under these amendments that have been offered for the National Defense Authorization Act, which unfortunately the amendments were included in the House version of the House version of the National Defense Authorization Bill, but nothing was included in the Senate version. So right now the House and Senate are negotiating the final NDAA bill, and those amendments are on the table still as being possible in the final bill. To date, we've had over 1,000 letters sent to the House and Senate. Over 340 WEF members have sent letters to Congress urging for these changes. So it's been a great response by WEF members, but I think there's a lot more that still needs to be done because the legislation is still being negotiated and under consideration. They're being responsive and hearing our concerns about this. They've not finalized the bill, as I said, but I think it's important that we continue to do that outreach that way that our concerns are recognized, and if the final bill comes out with or without it, at least we've had our say in the process. The WEF Water Advocates call to action is still active on the WEF website. You can get to it by going to wef.org, and there's a tab on the top for advocacy, and the drop down within that tab is the Water Advocates page, and you can click that and you could easily go to this call to action on that page, and just by clicking the button, entering your zip code, it'll find your members of Congress, and we have the letter already written for members of WEF to send. All they have to do is enter their information and hit send, and it'll go to their senators and elected officials.